What's up, guys? Thank you so much for coming to my channel. We're going to be talking about the second part of Nearpod. In the first part, we talked about mainly using lessons from the library that have already been created. Today, we're basically be talking about how to make your own lessons. This is more of a tutorial for the intermediate. Okay, guys, first things first, we're going to talk about folder creation. It's very important to make your folders because they keep everything organized, and easiest way to do that, press the plus button up here. So we're going to press this plus button. It's going to ask us for the name, and we're going to type in example. Once I do it, it opens up the folder for me, and I can start putting lessons in it. Up here, if I click the drop down, it's going to give me a list of options that I can choose, anywhere from adding lessons, adding a folder to this already made folder. I could rename the folder, I could delete the folder altogether, and I can make it a certain color so it stands out among the rest. I'm going to pick purple. I'm going to click to the side, and I could pick my lessons here, or you could pick my lessons here. As you can see, I made a blue one for ELA, a red one for math, and I have all the IB units. And I made our example purple. Okay, to get started in creating your own lessons, you definitely want to go up to this button up here and go to Quick Launch. When you go to Quick Launch, you're given 4 different options, okay? You can create a timer. This is basically for drill and sprint activities. You can go to Draw It, where you can give the students a question and they could draw out the answer, or you can give them a picture and they could write with their finger in the answer. So I would basically use all of these as exit tickets, and they would be very helpful in that way. Collaborate board and open-ended questions are basically the same thing, but I would use collaborate board because it's a lot more flashier. So if you click collaborate board, here is your question at the top where you would put in your inquiry question. You can probably put some extra directions for the students, and you could even add a photo here. Okay, down here is exactly what the students would be writing. All right, so we're gonna click this guy, and this shows you basically all the different themes that you can choose. Again, open-ended questions and collaborate board are very similar in this way. If you press Quick Launch, you're gonna actually start it up. So that's what we're gonna do. It notices it gives you a code that you could automatically start. Now, this is an important question to ask. Would you like to approve student comments before they are posted? Always pick yes, because you want to make sure that what they're answering makes sense, that they didn't put up anything inappropriate, and it makes your life a lot easier. So here, the students see the same exact thing, and they could just type in, I am a student. And they can put a period, and then before they press post, they can press the image button. They don't have to find a new image. It's not that complicated. They could go up here to Google, and they could just type in the word student. And here they get a list of different pictures, and they're already safe searched. So you're not going to see anything inappropriate in these photos. Hit save, and there it is. And here's the thing, and when they press post, it goes on up. Now you always have the option to trash what they put, and you can even press like on it, and so can the other students. Over here, you press this, and it tells you a list of pending posts. When they do send it, you can approve what goes on this board and what doesn't. So make sure you check that constantly. Okay, the only drawback to using Quick Launch is the fact that it creates its very own lesson in a self-contained manner, which means it's more of an activity and not a lesson. So normally you can just grab this and move it into these folders, but because it's an activity and not a lesson, you can't do that. Notice I'm grabbing them and it just seems like I'm highlighting them. I'm not moving them. So the only options you have are to look at the reports, which are basically whatever the students have responded, or you can delete it. Those are your only 2 options. Okay, so we went into quick launch and we talked about the 4 different activities that you can give the students and the drawbacks to using quick launch. Right now, we're going to talk about how to create lessons. So to create lessons, well, I would click create. Now here you can pick lessons where you would add in your own features. You can go to Google Slides, and you could also add videos. And we might have to make another video actually to talk about videos, because that is a activity all itself and it's pretty cool. Let's get into lessons to begin with. So once you click lessons, this is the page that you're meeting with. Now, when you're met with this page, you click the top and we're just gonna type in sample lesson. If you click settings, you can kind of just pick whatever grade you want, pick whatever subject you want, and you press submit. You can give in the description and all that stuff. Here is where you can add slides, you can delete the slide, and you can make a copy of slides, okay? If you click something with the right key, you can add certain options to it. So I'm just gonna pick slide. And here it kind of looks like Google Slide, where I can add video, text, image, anything I want to give to the students. And you can give it a certain color, a certain theme, whatever you like. Once you're done, you hit save and exit. And it creates that slide. That's just one slide. Now, we can add videos. That could be a slide. You could add web content. You could do a VR trip where the students could actually take a virtual tour. And you could choose which virtual tour you would like to see. This is actually pretty cool to use and fun, really fun for them. You could choose a video from BBC. You can use a slideshow, which is very important. In fact, you can import your PDFs there. You can import your PowerPoint presentations that way. And you can import pictures that way. You would just press this guy over here and you can choose it just like that. And at the bottom down here, it's going to be processing. Okay, and you just wait for it to load. Another option, simulation. The simulation is pretty good because it gives them a bunch of science and math activities and just fun things in general. You can talk about building a fraction, area, perimeter, velocity, speed, distance, angle, gravity, weight, balance beam, all this kind of cool stuff you could kind of play with them. So these are really cool activities. Just play around with it, see what you think they'll like, and kind of go through it. But some really cool stuff here. All right. Whenever you're finished adding a lesson, or sorry, whether you're adding a slide, when you're done, always click the first slide and press preview, because this shows you exactly what the students would see once you're ready to begin. So remember, we made a blank slide. That was our first slide. This was the PowerPoint slide that I made for my students. And this is the science one that we just added. Okay, and you can kind of go through this with them. Show them a pie chart, all this stuff. All right. Press this little X over here. We're gonna get back to where we're supposed to go. When you're done, you press save and exit, but we're not done. We're gonna go through one last thing. We're gonna go to add slide. And these are all your contents that you can add. Now, there's also activities. Now, activities are important because it shows you those quick launch icons we saw before. Open-ended questions, draw it, collaborate board, right? All of those are right here to add in. So once you're done, you're gonna go to save, exit. And wait for it to save, and boom, there it is. Now with the sample lesson, unlike the quick launch like we did before, I can drag to a folder. It even says on the top, drag to folder. You can actually put it away. And once you, the thinking behind that is that you don't want to make a bunch of lessons here that you have to sift through. It'd be better just to put them all in one place so you know exactly where they would be. All right, so we're gonna grab sample and we're gonna put it in example. Now you saw before that I added a PowerPoint presentation to a Nearpod. So this is the one of the assignments that I chose to do. So here was an opener lesson that I had created. Okay, where we talked about how to express ourselves. We started with an inquiry question. We started with front loading the vocabulary. The students had to answer which one of the, if we're talking about how to express ourselves, which one of our IB traits would it work with? We talked about different ways that they could express themselves. We talked about a tour, more vocabulary, and then we finished it with what is your favorite way to express yourself? Okay. Once I imported it into Nearpod, down here I would press edit. This was the first page. It asked them that open-ended question with this is the picture. And they were able to answer their question here, and I was getting all that data. Another open-ended question. The front loading of the vocabulary. And after doing that front loading vocabulary, they were given this poll question. Again, this one. There was no right or wrong answer as long as they were able to show evidence for what they were talking about. Okay. One more open-ended question. The guided question for the tour, and then we did a tour of New York City, where we saw all these different people in New York City, and we just basically identified all the ways that they think people are identifying and expressing themselves. And besides people, what else is identifying and expressing itself to them? So then we went to our next slide, where we went into media. And we explained what media was. And then finally, we did the collaborate board. What is one way, their favorite way to express themselves? And they were able to, I like to dance. They could pick a picture. They could press dance. It shows them different pictures of dance. There it is, and they could post it, and there it would go. Okay, I can press like. Okay, review time. We talked about adding folders. You would press this plus button, you type in the name, and you're given a bunch of different folder options that you could change the color, you could change the name, you could add folders, and that's basically with the intent of keeping you organized. You can go to quick launch at the top, but only use these for teachable moments. Don't use them every day, all the time, because you will not be able to sort them. And finally, if you have to create any lessons in Nearpod that are completely custom, use PowerPoint or Google Slides first. Create it on those platforms and then upload it. Once you do upload it, you can go to add slide in between them and add any one of those activities that we talked about before to create an engaging technological atmosphere for them, for the students in front of you, as well as the students that are at home. I hope you found this enjoyable. We're going to get into our very last video about Nearpod, where we'll be talking about how to create Nearpod activities with videos. I'll see you soon.